Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is D-Ross, Dwayne-Ross, the author of the book No More Crumbs from the Table. Just reminding you about the Write Your Story course. You can't see me because I'm kind of behind here, but here I am on the outside there. I'm waiting for my man Odis Bellinger. He's getting himself together off screen in the green room. But I gotta tell you, we have a really power packed show set up for you tonight. Just want to say thank you everyone who's been riding with us. Thank you so much for showing up when I'm not sure who's going to show, but here you are, and you're here with us. Tonight, we're going to be talking some man to man information. I have a gentleman who I met at a business networking event about a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how we need to, do better as men, period, for our families, for our communities, helping raise our boys, helping us be better when it comes to just how we treat one another. Even we talked about that idea or that thing around, black male, black on black crime. We talked about that as well. And some of the strategies that he has employed in the community in order to make things better. I want to remind you of the Write Your Story course. We're about to unleash that again. We're going to be putting that out there for people to participate. We're doing it for 149, $149, where you could take the live course and be on the lookout for that. That's going to be released out soon. It's really looking good. Things are going well. We got a current cohort going until April 10th, and then after April 10th, we're going to ramp it up and do it again. So those that have stories to tell, have books to be written, I want to say, don't worry, I got your back. I want you to, let's walk together and get your product out there, right? Let's get your story told. So how you been? Everything been good? I hope so. I'm down here in a lake, enjoying myself a little bit here, looking outside. If you could see, that's a real background back there. But I got to tell you, this conversation that I had with Otis, it started, with just talking about business, right? And so I'm bringing him in a few minutes. So hang on to your seats while we get started. Otis, I'm gonna come talk to you real quick, but let's get this party going. And get myself into the stream. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh man, how are you, good brother?
I'm good. Do me a favor. That light behind you is a little bit take coming off of your back, but that's okay. If you could just tone it down just a little bit, but that's okay. We can see you. We really want to hear you. So um, we get a chance. Yeah, that one right there. Just turn it up a little bit the other way. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Right there. Right there. Perfect. Perfect. Now we can see you. All right, man. Tell us and tell the viewers, how you and I came along to talk about this idea of building better men, because that's what you were talking about in our networking group. And you started sharing some things, and I said, man, you need to come on the show and talk about this passion you have for the heart of man and men and helping them just, do better when it comes to our community. So talk to us about that.
Well, brother, thank you for having me on. I know we met at the Black CEO conference, which is one of the top conferences in the world for Black leaders. So just the fact that we were there together talks about that both of us have serious journeys. It may be on different lanes, but we got serious journeys. Um, build a better man. In the Black community, men are supposed to be the children's primary counselors. They're supposed to be the one that watch the village. They're supposed to be the one to stamp out all the negativity. But however, you know, we are a different type of creature, man. I mean, dealing with brothers, dealing with us, everybody's trying to figure out what to do with us. You got grandparents trying to figure out what to do with the grandsons. You got mamas trying to figure out what to do with the sons. You got wives trying to figure out what to do with the husbands. You got first ladies trying to figure out what to do with the pastors. Everybody trying to figure us out, man. And we have not stepped up to the plate, including myself in my past, uh, to to become a better man.
Wow, that's a powerful statement because you said we haven't stepped up to the plate for ourselves. And, tell us about some of the things. I know you hear it from a lot of different perspectives. You hear it from the school system, you hear it from the law enforcement system, you hear it from the juvenile detention systems, you hear it just in the street. Talk to us about, this idea of building a better man, and then the fact that there's men who reject being built by somebody in the black community. Talk about that.
Well, you know, it's been a stigma in terms of listening to someone else. There's times that we believe that we got all the answers, even if our kids are not acting or behaving the way we want them to. If things aren't right at home, I mean, a man a lot of times still wants to be a man, so he may reject wise counsel, just which I consider being emotionally selfish. That you are supposed to find every coping mechanism and every skill you can use for the betterment of your family. So, you know, I believe that every man wants to be a better man. They just don't know how.
Wow. Every man wants to be a better man, but he just doesn't know how. And so, we could talk to her blue in the face, but my position is that it has to start with the mindset, right? There's so many things that we've been given as this is what a black, this is what a man is. Forget, not even worried about the framing of black males, but here's what a man's supposed to do. And we were given false narratives when it comes to how men are supposed to show up. And then today, there's a question on, does manhood equal this or that, right? Because you have some people who are choosing different lifestyles and things of this nature. And then some people reject them in the church or they reject them in the community because they don't look like what, you know, maybe we thought it's supposed to look like, right? So I'm, unfortunately, we just lost a little of our we lost our Wi-Fi. Just one moment. I'm coming back in there. I'll be right back. Hold on, y'all. For some reason, we're getting some. Let me see if I can get a better. We are connected. All right. I do apologize. We're running into some technical difficulties with our Wi-Fi. I'm gonna see if I can reboot this again and get this up. All right, we have some technical difficulties, but we are still live, and we're trying to get our guests back on the line. I was actually kicked off as well, so I know there's a storm out there, some raining happening here and there, but hopefully you guys can hold tight. I'll be right back. I'm going to get this set back up, and let's get this story moving. We're talking about something really important. It always seems that some things come along when it's that way. So, give me a moment. All right, you're back. I'm back. Looks like we're okay. So if we get kicked off again, we're just gonna keep moving. Stay right where you are. I'm just gonna kind of reboot and see what happens. It's interesting when you have something so powerful to talk about. Sometimes these kind of things do happen. So we're on this new 5G network. so uh, anyway, so you were saying, we were talking about, this fact that they don't want to get direction from someone else. Talk again. Let's kind of kick back in that to that part and move forward.
Well, as I mean, a lot of men feel that if their family is receiving counsel from another man, that means that they failed somewhere. It doesn't mean that. It just means that iron sharpens iron. Far too often, moms that call me are like, "Hey, the dad is in the house, but he don't communicate with my son effectively." And then when the mom reaches out for counseling to bridge that communication gap between the dad and the son, sometimes fathers have came and interfered and like, my son don't need no counseling. And then there's been some situations where later on, that dad came to me when, uh, the son had regressed to the point that maybe some of his habits and even traumas they're dealing with could have been dealt with had they just sought help.
And you think that is it just the fact that they believe that they're supposed to have the answers, and who are, or, or do you think it's a pride issue? What do you think are the motivators behind that?
A lot of times that has nothing to do with the child. It's the roles and responsibilities and expectations of the parents, whether it's a co-parent situation or whether you're in the house. You have parents who stay under the same roof but have two different parenting styles. And when that's the case, um, you might not have the desired outcomes that you want for your child, and it may even get your child to become manipulative because he can play one against the other. So you need somebody skilled to come in between and just the parents and just keep it real and like, hey, you are losing your son. This is what's going on. I mean, so that's some things we need to do so that you won't have to deal with this down the line.
And one of the things that we want to do is keep them from being incarcerated and some of the other things. What are some of the things that these moms and grandmas and community leaders have come to you specifically to talk about these young men that you've been uh, counseling and mentoring in your program?
Well, there's a difference between fixing and healing. You know, uh, a lot. Of, you know, as a mentor and as a counselor, a clinical therapist, we have to do a lot of more healing and listening and understanding. Sometimes we try to do the quick fix. Like, nothing wrong with that boy. His dad not in his life. He getting all A's in school. He's socializing well. But that's what you see. I mean, you don't see him wondering why his dad's not in his home. Other things, which can which can contribute to the behaviors, which contribute to the way he deal with women, on and on and on. So, um, we just got to understand that at times we don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm a counselor with a private practice, and I send my daughter to counseling. I don't know everything.
Well, that's powerful because again, there's a stigma to even going to counseling, right? It's like okay, but also you have some people think that if they could just go to Sister Mary or Brother Joe over at the church, everything's going to be great. Sometimes there's some mental anguish, some mental health issues, and things of this nature. So your particular practice is a certified program because you're a certified counselor. You're not just saying, "Hey, I want to help you know make things right with people." You're actually certified in a particular methodology which involves Socratic involvement and some other things. Talk to us about why you chose to get certified and to go into this area of counseling.
Well, I started a program in 1991 called Building Better Men, which is a mentoring and leadership development program for young males ages 8 to 17. And I believe God has gifted me to be able to connect with young men, particularly brown and black young men. And a lot of parents will contact me, like, "Can you talk to my son one on one?" And it was just so many parents. And I said, uh, I need to go get licensed in this so I can be able to better serve these young men. And that's how the practice started. I already had a ready-made base. I just had to go, get the license and know how to do the paperwork and deal with the insurances and become on some insurance panels. And the rest is history.
Well, that's interesting too, because what the story is about is when people have an actual passion for something, and how many times, on many occasions, people will put a lot of passion and energy into something, but they don't get paid for it. And I started thinking about even myself. I've been giving away, giving away, giving away, doing a lot, doing a lot, doing a lot, but not really making the big money when it comes to doing the work that I do. And so I came to this place where I was like, you know what? I really want to position myself better in the marketplace, and I want to let people like yourself know that hey, you could get paid and you could make a difference with your
Right.
passion. What was it about you that you knew this was your passion? Like when did you know this was your passion, and how did you execute a plan to put that passion to work?
Well, I mean, it was brothers in the neighborhood, man. They may not have been doing the best things or been the best models, but they kept me out of trouble. And some brothers just told me the way you can pay us back is to be able to duplicate the process that we did with you, and just be able to help young brothers understand that they're valuable, that every piece of real estate they put their feet on adds value. And a lot of brothers don't understand that because they don't see that same value in the actual real estate where they reside. So, and that's a piece where you got to connect with them, man. I mean, I know what it was like to not have a father in the home. I know what it's like to not have some things going on, to have a single mother. And I just said that I want to work with young boys who are like me. And so I started a program in 1991. And passion, we didn't have no money. I mean, in 30 years, nobody has ever taken a salary. It's just, it's just something that we've done. And you know, a lot of these kids don't want big names; they want big hearts, and
Mm.
and they want consistency. Um, so our program has never been a program that has been based on funding. Like we don't have the funding, we close the doors. No, we just found a way to modify the program and continue serving.
That's powerful because when you think about this idea of funding and doors closing when people still have a need out there, you're saying that hey, we didn't take a salary, we just went in here and we dug in and we kept going forward because the heart of that person or whatever that child needs, it's not based on just funding right? It's based on let me see how well we can take care of this need. Talk about how 1991 you started this whole building better men mentoring program, and how did it like transform into what it's doing now?
Well, I had to, I went back to a local college here and took some classes in nonprofit management, learned about how to do a board of directors, learned some things about grant writing, learned some particulars on how to run a nonprofit organization, right? Because it's an organization, you know. So no matter what my passion is, I have to file taxes every year. I have to, uh, do what's necessary. We had to get a 501c3 uh, to make us a nonprofit. So we got our logo patented. So there's some things we had to do on a business level, although, this is not a moneymaker. It's I believe it's a generational um, push for like all the young men that we see. And when it comes to money, I mean, the best money I've ever made was money I've never chased. So, I'm not tripping on no money, man.
That's that. I love that. The best money you ever made is the money you didn't chase, and that's something too that we have in common. Because I at one point I was chasing money, but I found that if I chased the heart, if I chased the passion of what I do, the money will show up. And that's how it has started to happen. It just hasn't happened at that level where you're like, ooh, money, money, money. But I know that it's different when you go to the gas station and somebody that you empowered their life and they come over to you and say, hey, Mr. Otis, remember this? Remember when you said X, Y, and Z? And you're like, yeah, I kind of remember I said maybe something, but you didn't know that that word impacted them so well that they changed their whole life, and maybe they decide not to kill themselves. Maybe they decide not to murder someone. Maybe they decided to go to school and not drop out. I mean, it's all kind of different payoffs that are not monetary. So talk about how you said that you got in this business, you had this passion, you started, but then you knew you had to go back to school and learn and put the foundation back in when it comes to organization, how to set up your 501c3, things of this nature. Are you doing anything to help other businesses get themselves viable in this marketplace or when it's called this nonprofit environment?
I do. I mean, I help other folk when they ask me questions, right? Uh, but however, I, I mean, if I got 5 calls during the week and it's a young man or somebody saying, "Hey, I want to open up a organization helping young men," right? And then when I talk to them and see that they might not understand the work that's put in, I'll let them know. I mean, there's a lot of organizations out here you could partner with. It don't have to be mine. And then sometimes folks get territorial, and I'm not gonna ever get territorial helping black boys, right? So they're like, no, they want their name, they want this, so but they don't understand that, man, this is hard work. And and if you getting into it for money, I mean, you already, it's almost like you already should have some type of job or income, and this shouldn't be looked at as income. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with monetizing your intellectual property, but it's a lot of work. I mean, if you get a big grant for some millions or what have you, that's fine. But um, like I said, a lot of these kids just want big hearts, man.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're more from the grassroots perspective. Hey, we're gonna dig in where we can and make the difference right here in the community. And yes, there are some organizations we should see that we should partner with. And I think that's one of the reasons why I know that's one of the reasons why I asked the question is because a lot of times when you're getting started, you don't have the connections, you don't have all of the things in place, and so I'm hearing you say that as a small, getting started nonprofit that might be engaged in the same type of work, you should maybe seek a partnership so that you can collectively, do the work. And then, as you were saying earlier, it's not motivated by money, but you're motivated by the hearts. So I think that's very important. And so those that are watching, those that are thinking about, getting your, work out there, a nonprofit could be one way to do it. Another way could be a for-profit, right? You don't have to do it as a nonprofit. Some people have done it as a secondary piece. They have a big business that takes care of their finances, and then they have a foundational type, another foundation or some kind of nonprofit that the actual profit company feeds into the nonprofit. But you've been doing this with your own money, right, Otis? Talk about how like one or two stories of lives that that you've changed because there's this whole area about mental health. Why does mental health matter in changing these lives that you're connected with?
Well, I'll tell you, Uh, I mean, we do have some people that rock with us that give us some money each year, for us to do different programs and what have you. So I mean, lately, last maybe 7 years, 8 years, we've had folks really help us. Some, not a lot, and quite frankly, a lot of them don't look like me and you. So you know, and uh, in terms of uh, how we've been able to, brother, you might have to restate that question, man.
Well,
Hold
yeah, I
you,
mean, in reference to the fact that you're using your own funds to move this forward,
right,
and some people they will have a challenge with that because they don't have a lot of money. But some people can create a corporation and let the corporation feed their nonprofit so that
mhm,
the money they make in their for-profit entity feeds their nonprofit entity.
right, right. Well, there's
So,
do it. Um, I mean, my business give to the program, other folks' business give to the program. However, that's just one part. The other part is being consistent in your programming and then knowing how to relate to these young guys. I have a 30, one, or he might be 32-year-old brother who relates to these kids, right? Probably a lot better than I do at this moment. I don't know all those rappers and all that stuff they do, and I don't play video games and all that. So uh, I went and got somebody who has a heart for this and somebody who can actually take up the mantle and can keep it going. Because sometimes we want to continue, 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 and not prepare folks to come behind us. And so,
well,
uh,
yeah, not that's part of it too because see, the thing about it is one of the things you mentioned earlier is how they shut their doors, and a lot of times the reason why they shut their doors is because they didn't have a financial plan to support the business. They didn't have a way. They love the work that they're doing. They really do make a difference, but they don't have enough coming to balance that, right? And so here's this great work that they're doing in the earth, but it gets kind of shortchanged or it gets kind of stopped as a result of not having the money to buy the books, the money to take them into the community, the money to get these thought leaders to come and spend time with them, because sometimes other people are not free, even though you might give your time for free. Some of these other people is not. And so we want to make sure when you say consistency and being there, it's like the Boys and Girls Club used to be that thing. You knew you can go there. It was not going anywhere. It was on the corner of such and such street. And so you knew that you can go there because it provided this service into the community. I remember listening to Denzel Washington, and he talked about how that was the place where he was able to hone his craft, and get some peace of mind in his community. So in your case, you said you have people, and you have to stay relevant to our young people because time is moving fast. They're moving fast, and we can't be moving too slow because then we miss them. In order to continue to have the impact that you're having right now, what are some of the strategies you've put in place to make sure that your work doesn't shut doors and doesn't disappear? Because are you going into other people's spaces? Do you have a space that you already have in the community that they can come to? How are you set up to make sure that you stay, viable?
well, we partner with other organizations and we don't look at it as it's our program or no, man, we don't care about all that, man. If if people want to put their names on it, what have you, as long as they act in a spirit of integrity, we're good. So like we've partnered with the Marshall Mathers Foundation, who's Eminem, his lawyers, to do literacy programs. We partner with some NBA players. We partner with some NFL players. We partner with some local rappers. We partner with some local businesses. And it's all for the benefit of these kids, man. So, if I got folks who call me all the time and they want to sit up and do a hour speech and want to be seen and what have you. And that's not what we about, man. We about let's help these kids, man. I mean, you could do that somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the focus is on the kids' development, right? So, um, but I also know that mental health services is huge because uh, in the black community, a lot of times we got these family secrets, and folk don't understand that family secrets lead to trauma, lead to suicide, lead to depression. I mean, no, don't tell nobody this happened. It's family secret. And so then, I mean, that's unfair because that's something you got to hold for the rest of your life. I mean, a family secret, like, which, and a lot of times it be something like molestation or your uncle did this, and then the person who's the victim got to still be around that uncle, still be around that family. And here it is, they telling you to be quiet. I mean, don't talk about that in counseling. Come on, man. That, I mean, that just messes your mindset up. But they're like, man, I don't want to tell nobody because you know it's my uncle, it's my cousin, it's my father, it's my mother, and so like I tell folks, if you break a bone, you want the bone healed. Well, no bone heals 100%, but you want it healed as close to 100% as possible. So you don't go say, hey, I want this healed 60%. And that's the same way that you should address the issues going on in your family. I mean, you can't come to a therapist and give them 60%, and then 6 weeks after you're doing therapy, oh, by the way, my son witnessed his father, you know, uh, domestic violence, or by the way, the uncle had, sexually molested someone. I mean, we got to come and put it all on the floor in the beginning and stop some of these family curses.